guys, welcome back to CJ's Keto Kitchen. Tonight I am going to be making my annual after Easter leftovers casserole. I do this every year, and this one happens to be a ham and broccoli casserole. So let's go ahead and get started. So to begin, we are going to need to preheat our oven, and we need 375 degrees. So this casserole is going to be utilizing any leftovers that you have after your Easter meal, and you could of course use this any time of year, but you can also use meats besides ham, but I will get into that during the video. So let's go ahead and get going. So you're going to need a 9 by 13 inch baking dish. So I have greased mine a little bit with avocado oil spray, but you are going to need a baking dish of this size or close to it. So I have here on the stove already prepared and reheated ham. This recipe is called ham and broccoli casserole, but you wouldn't have to use ham. You could use any kind of chopped meat that you have left over. And this recipe is particularly good for using leftover meat. But if you happened to just want to make this from meat that is not leftover, you could absolutely do that. I have 2 cups of prepared ham here, and I have chopped and rewarmed mine in just a little bit of rendered bacon fat. The other thing that I have pre-prepared is 2 cups of riced cauliflower. I have done my riced cauliflower in my carbon steel pan. CJ gave me this pan for Christmas, and it is kind of a combination between cast iron and steel. So it's like cast iron and a wok had a baby. And I love it because it really gets my cauliflower rice dry, because you don't want your rice to be too moist if you're going to be adding a sauce to it. So I have just sauteed mine a little bit in this, and it is nice and toasty and dry. No matter what you use to cook your cauliflower rice, it does need to be cooked and ready to go. Inside my small bowl, I have 8 ounces of softened cream cheese. To that, I'm going to add 1 cup of sour cream. Now the recipe that I referenced and that I reference for a lot of my casseroles comes from old-time cookbooks or taste of home recipes that are very traditional and old-fashioned. And a lot of times they utilize cream soup in that step, like cream of mushroom, cream of chicken, etc. And of course, those have a lot of fillers and binders in them. I discussed that in my blog post for this week. I am changing that to the cream cheese and sour cream because it's going to mimic the texture of a cream soup, but without all the fillers and starches in it. Okay, so to our fats, I'm going to start adding some seasonings. So this is a little bit of Kinder Buttery Steakhouse. We have that linked in our Amazon list. You can also find it at Costco. And I have about a teaspoon. I have Trader Joe's 21 Seasoning Salute. I have 2 teaspoons of this. And I also have 2 cloves of fresh minced garlic. I'm also going to be using just a little bit of mustard because I really appreciate ham and mustard together. I'm going to be using a little bit of spicy brown and a little bit of yellow. And I'm just going to use a squirt or 2 of each. Now I'm just going to take my whisk and combine all of these sauce ingredients. So the last ingredient that is going to go into our ham and broccoli casserole is, of course, broccoli. And I have 1 pound here, and I have cooked it, and I have slightly chopped it a little bit. This is broccoli crowns. That's what I prefer because it doesn't have quite as much of the woody stem if you get crowns, which is what I prefer. So I'm going to put all of our ingredients that we already discussed in here, and then I'm going to add the sauce. Just so it's combined a little bit before we add our sauce. Okay, I'm gonna put my sauce in. Give it one more stir to make sure everything got incorporated. So I'm just going to go ahead and incorporate this into our ingredients. Okay, our sauce is mostly incorporated. There's still a couple of spots that I'm going to incorporate a bit more, but we want to add our cheese. So I'm working with 2 different kinds of cheese for this particular casserole. Of course, with most of my casserole dishes, you can use whatever kind of cheese you and your family enjoy. So I'm going to be using a little bit of Swiss, and I'm also going to be using a little bit of Monterey Jack blend. And I have about a cup of each here. So I'm just going to start sprinkling both kinds, then I'm going to stir, and then I'm going to top with a little bit of what's left. I really enjoy Swiss cheese with ham. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit more cheese on the top. Okay, we are going to bake this casserole at 375 degrees for about 30 minutes. I will more than likely broil the top at the end for about a minute or so. That's traditionally what I do for casseroles, just to get that goldenness on top. So 375 for 30 minutes. Okay, it's ready to come out. Okay, as with every casserole, it needs to sit here for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then I will serve it to CJ. Okay, here is tonight's dinner for us and my annual after Easter casserole. Okay, CJ, let us know what you think.
All right. It's good. It's hot, but it's good. A lot of flavor. The mustards go well with the ham and the Swiss. And I don't even taste the cauliflower. But I think it adds a textural component to it. So, good job, baby. I think people will like it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for joining us again tonight, you guys. We hope that you enjoy the casserole. I know that's what we are going to be having for our Easter meal because we're filming this ahead of time. We hope that you come back and see us again. And until then, stay well.